Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
Here in the studio, talk a little bit about all the craziness that's just done happened in the last weekend of Premier League. Big news.
Big news.
Yeah, man. Liverpool.
MLS is back.
Right.
Sorry.
Did I already start? Oh, I started off.
There we go.
A little early.
Man, are we even 10 seconds in?
Yeah, we were 35 seconds in. That might be the earliest.
Hey, new pod record. I like it.
First two cards in the first minute.
Yep. Oh, don't remind me.
Well, and then yes, MLS kicked off,
Yeah.
which is also very, very nice.
Yeah, and talk a little Classico as well, and some games being postponed.
You want to talk El Clasico? Well, let me just stop you right there.
The
Uh-oh.
You've given me the segue for our beer of the day before we get to talking all the football.
Love it.
Bar of the day.
Because this beer comes to us from Barcelona, Spain.
Oh,
Even
is
though
it now?
Barcelona did not, they needed to play like they did the week before, not this past week, as they played Real Madrid. So I've got us a Spanish beer, a company we have had before, but a variation that we have not.
Interesting.
Excellent.
Company pet.
So, my friends, I give you.
Wait, what kind of box is that?
Yeah, right. It looks like it's like
bougie.
a Scotch box, right?
Yeah, it does.
So I will. I let Ron take a look at this for a second. We'll pass this around.
Okay.
So the label is pretty stark. It's
It is Estrella or Estrella Inedit.
What did you just
I
call
don't
me?
know how you pronounce it, but it's Inedit, and it is the beer created by world's most award-winning chef Ferran Adriá.
Why is he making beers?
How you like that, buddy? The beer created by Ferran Adriá, the world's most award-winning chef, won the silver medal in 2012 International Beer Challenge. He's all these different beers he's made. So, Inedit, however you pronounce it, has been created by Estrella Damm Brewmasters and by Ferran Adriá and El Bulli's sommeliers team. Well, that went from Spanish to French, and that hurt my head. This exquisite beer was specifically created to be paired with any dish and complements even those challenging foods such as asparagus, artichokes, salmon, tuna, cheeses, citrus, and bitter notes.
wow.
And I just cooked us up some barbecue with that vinegary
did.
tang, so we'll see how this goes. And it is a unique copage of barley malt and wheat with hop and aromatic spices like coriander, orange peel, and licorice. Tasting notes are high intensity and aromatic complexity. Its appearance slightly cloudy, fruity and floral to the nose with a yeasty sensation and sweet spices reminiscences. Creamy and fresh texture, soft volume and delicate carbonic, long aftertaste and pleasant memory. Best enjoyed in a chilled in a white wine glass. You got to love that. We're not that bougie. To fully appreciate the quality of this beer, it is important to fill just half the glass.
Wow. A half a glasser.
Swanky club, beer.
Right?
And you read all that from a box.
Yeah. So Estrella Damm Inedit has been created by Ferran Adrià and the team of sommeliers from El Bulli. Has received 5 times the world's best restaurant award by Restaurant Magazine. And the Estrella Damm, the next one is the same thing, but in Spanish.
And what kind of beer was this? What did you
This
say?
is a wheat style. If you actually go on their website, they...
White and lager beer blend is what it says on the label.
If you look at the website, I'll show you guys. It's got a cool, like the way it shows how it's
Oh,
made.
yeah.
It's got
Pretty
a,
slick.
if you go to damm.com, the brewery, Damm. But it's made with 2 types of beer, traditionally malted barley beer and wheat beer. This is a wheat or white beer. It's in the style of a wit beer, originally from Belgium and made with unmalted wheat. Using unmalted wheat gives this beer more body and a softer, fuller mouthful. It gets this pale yellow color, slight cloudiness from the unfiltered wheat proteins. This thing is cool because it really lays out
Yeah,
like
this-
the process. It's flavored with spices, giving it a special taste and making it a one-of-a-kind beer. Hops, where beer gets its bitter taste, and it has a lower proportion to make it more versatile in culinary pairings. Its key ingredient giving beer its fresh, grassy flavors. Licorice gives the beer subtly sweet notes without dominating the overall taste. It is used very carefully for a delicate aromatic accent. Y'all, this is fancy.
I can't wait.
Coriander seeds give
Think he's
it its complexity of taste and spice sensation. The seeds are used for their more delicate expression. And finally, orange peel, main focus of this beer's taste palette. It comes out in the citrus notes that give this Inedit its firmness and freshness and complexity. Created in 2008 by the Damm Brewery, along with the aforementioned chef, Berran Adriá. and got some tasty notes, which we already talked about. It's a beer made for food. The delicate texture of this beer tempers acidic sensations. So again, like the acidic barbecue we just had, brings out the refreshing effect of the sourness. 4.8 volume or alcohol by volume.
Okay. So
I even have got original gravity. The bit is 11 for those of you keeping up at home.
what's the original gravity?
11.5. What's the P stand for? It's the
Paranormal?
It's the degree piece. It's how you measure the gravity of the beer to figure out what the alcohol is. It's not palindromes. That's the only P word I can think of right now. Oh, it's gonna be crazy because Ron and I were just we were just talking about brewing, home brewing earlier. So
you guys were. I just took a picture.
yes, there's quite a good picture of me holding the bulb.
Play-Doh.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I was thinking Aristotle. I totally had this off.
There we go.
I was
early dad joke there for.
I was way off. But yeah, so
I'm excited to try this, man.
I got us a bit of a bougie beer to
you
try.
should.
Like
Made by a freaking chef.
All right, so yeah, I think that
Use the you got to use the Bond, the
James
swanky
Bond
opener. Yeah.
can opener will work. Actually, I'm not gonna do that on the glass top
God.
though.
Oh my God.
Smash! All right.
That actually worked lovely.
Ooh, it smells good. All right, so only half a glass. So we may have to do it's a large bottle, so we may have to do a couple of pours.
Oh, what a shame.
It looks more like a wine.
There you go, Mr. Keller.
Grazie. Or no.
Don't look at me.
No, that was Italian. Oh, what's Spanish?
Spanish.
Thank you.
Oh,
I don't know.
Gracias.
Gracias?
Yeah.
Gracias.
Jesus.
No, not Jesus.
That'd be Jesus.
Jesus.
All right. Well,
Mira.
I got a little bit left, so if we
Just cap us all.
I think
I
it'll
think
work.
you got to put a little bit more in yours there, Blake. Yours looking a little worse for wear.
Yeah, this glass is a little bit smaller, I realize, than the other ones.
All right, then.
Inedit.
Okay.
Or however you pronounce
Keep
that.
going back around until we get there.
Yeah, we're there. This is a
Oh, yeah.
bougie
nice,
and good looking.
yeah, it
All
is.
right, y'all. And it's not, as it said, low on the carbonics. In other words, not a ton of head retention. We don't have a ton of.
Nope.
It's a nice bottle. It does. The box is. It does look like a Scotch box. You know.
Exactly.
It really does.
Sleek box.
It looks
All
like
black.
the Tomatin Scotch bottle
Yeah.
from, or Scotch box from Scotland.
So how's cheers in Spanish? Salud in French. I don't know.
I think it's the same, isn't it?
Probably something same.
I think it's the same.
We'll just say to Real Madrid because you won El Clasico. There we go.
Hey.
Boom. And Ron can say that now because his favorite player is no longer there at Real Madrid. Is Ronaldo your favorite player?
No.
I know. I'm messing with you.
I was like, what? That's not even close to true.
Who is your favorite player?
Oh, wow. This is like, I see what they're saying by meant to be with foods. It's not a super hoppy at all,
No.
That finish is
but it's definitely the Belgian wit beer vibe, but it's not as,
kind of heavy caramel at the end there.
yeah, it's not as, you got the coriander, you got the orange vibe, but it's not
You got
overly
those
like,
aromas,
no.
It's not strong at all.
Oh man, this is a beer made for sipping.
That's a smooth drinking beer.
Yeah, it is.
I've had this one too. I've been holding on to this for a little bit too, but it worked out to be part of our episode. We will talk about the El Clasico. So there you go, from Australia, from the Damm Brewery.
Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Australia, no, not
Oh,
Australia.
We're wrong with it, though. He wasn't second guessing at all. What are you looking for there?
Remember we used to have that metal disc and it had the Bond coasters on it, and I put
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Ron is our resident photographer, so he likes to set up his shots very well, and it's good when he's here because our shots look terrible when it's just Ferris and I.
I always like
I don't do a good
I always
job.
like when I just send you a shot right after the podcast,
from China, and it looks amazing.
and you're like, "Screw you, dude."
yeah, and ours is like,
bro.
okay, hold on a second. Like, okay. So yeah, there's the beer. Thanks for the segue there, Ferris.
Hey, you're welcome. Glad I can be of
And
assistance tonight.
this is a cool beer. I picked this up at the ABC store here.
No kidding.
4 or 5 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. I can't remember that long. The year is already blowing by, and it's just March.
Yeah, think about that. It's just
March.
Yeah, right.
But it feels like we're already 5 months into 2020.
Agreed.
Man, that's really good. That's good. All right. Well, let's get us on over to the football. It's quite the weekend.
Yeah.
Some upsets as we get to the first one right off the bat. Norwich, that's for you, Lee. Making sure I get that right. Goes to Leicester City, Norwich hosts Leicester City, and they beat Leicester 1-0. So just in case you thought Leicester might make a wild run for the title, Norwich says no. That would have been, by the way, a very wild run.
Yes. Well, Leicester's still in third on 50 points.
Not a wild run so much as a Liverpool deflation. Is what that was.
They are 29 points behind the top right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 29 is a little bit more than a wild run.
But Norwich, before this game, they were at 18 points at the very bottom of the table.
And they're still at the bottom of the table.
Which, it's unfortunate because what would happen later in this weekend would almost nullify Norwich's good win against Leicester as far as they're trying to get out of relegation battle.
Yeah,
because I will say, when that game ended, and all of a sudden Norwich had 24 points, Aston Villa...
no, Norwich has 21 points.
Sorry. They had 21 points, and you thought, well, depending on where Watford was at 24, you go, look, Norwich, this is still
plausible.
fate in their hand to keep from getting relegated here, but things would go another way.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Norwich, who are actually... I was listening to some commentary from England earlier this week, and they're saying they're probably the best team to have played in the best bottom club team in the Premier League to have played in the Premier League, if that makes sense. So
yes,
they're not like the
year.
Derby County from a few years back, and they weren't this like they are. That they play football very well. They play they're not a guaranteed exciting style, but they play a very positive style that is fun to watch. And they have a goal scorer. They have some talent. It's just they're not as consistent enough. And this win is a big win for them, but they're still 4 points off of 19th to a Villa team who didn't even play this weekend. So they are truly in an uphill battle. And their defense is not the greatest, obviously, and they're sitting on a minus 26. But nonetheless, you pick up points where you can. And with about 10 games left, who knows? They win 5 of those games. They may not be at the bottom. I think, the odds on are right now that they are going to go down, but this definitely helps their chances of maybe seeing them get over the relegation line.
Yeah, it was an awesome thing to see. They were the home crowd was out of their mind, excited. That stadium was rocking.
It needed that, absolutely. On the other side of things, though, Leicester City. I heard a stat today that since the Barrage's signing of his 5-year contract extension, which was done in like December, I want to say, Leicester's only won 3 or 4 games, 3 or 4 draws, and like 6 losses or something to that extent. I think they've only won 2, drawn 3, and then the rest were all losses. What has happened to Leicester since essentially the festive fixture time? Because Vardy can't seem to put the ball in the back of the net. They're not firing on all cylinders like they once were. The defense is becoming a little bit more shambolic, although still steady, not as good. They're still sitting on a plus 26 and 50 points and in third, but that was mainly gained from the first half of the year. Since then, they have not been good at all, and losing to Norwich is not.
You think there's any? You think there's a lack of fire underneath in the sense that they can't make a run for the league, and right now, despite what you just said, they're still in third place because everybody's terrible this year, with the exception of Liverpool.
Well, right, and they also just built themselves a pretty good buffer because for a while there, Leicester was in second. So, they were taking over.
They built.
Since City, I think a lot kind of happened when Vardy stopped scoring those goals, and when he went out,
that's when my fantasy team took a crap.
I agreed. When he went out, because I think they just had another child, him and his wife, so he rightly took the time off. But since being back,
the guy's not sleeping. Let him give him some slack.
Yeah, no, right. I don't. Yeah, but that kind of shows you that he's relied on as the main goal scorer for the team.
Just picture it right now. he's giving his wife, he said, I got this one. He goes out, does a feeding, lays the baby down. Now he can't get back to sleep. So he grabs a pint, smokes a cigarette on the back of the porch. It's just not a good sit. He gets like an hour and a half of sleep. It's nice what's happening right now.
No, I agree. They just really have nobody else to put the ball in the back of the net at the moment until he gets his form back. I think he's hit the post in a few of these games, and he's just not quite there yet. But not a good loss here for Leicester. They need to start to win quickly, or else they may see themselves out of the top 4 before the end of the year.
Yeah, Leicester, 2 losses, 2 draws, and a win in their last 5.
Yeah, there you go. I think if you go out to like 10 games, it's a lot more losses, like 3 or 4 more, and then maybe another.
Well, hold on, I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
Yeah, it's though they were doing great, and now all of a sudden it's disappeared again, and no one's thinking about them. It's a sad little deflation that they've hit. Mm-hmm. But if Jamie Vardy would like to join us, because Ron and I had our conversation earlier, we're going to write the Brewtiful Game parenting book. As we were cooking dinner earlier, saying, how come no one's written a book about disciplining a child through soccer? And we're just going to put buckets around the house for my kid of like that holds yellow and red cards. 1 yellow is a warning. 2nd, you go straight to your room. Jamie Vardy is going to write the foreword to this book.
You know what's going to be great? Is when your dog runs into your daughter by accident and she falls down, rolls across the floor, like screaming that her knee's in pain, going, ah.
Yeah, because see, today what happened, she got mad at the dog, and we caught her kicking the dog in the face. And I was like, that's a red card. And then it was like, I wonder if he did something before. I was like, you always see the retaliation.
VAR at all?
No VAR at this house.
Gotcha.
We keep it honest here. No VAR.
That's fair.
We don't want to ruin the game. We keep it honest. We're not Man United.
Hey, listen, we didn't create VAR. We did see a really funny thing posted by ESPN FC on their Twitter, and it shows like VAR officials in some booth, and they pasted Sir Alex Ferguson's head on one of the VAR officials, and like the last 4 games, here's a control of the VAR because they've all gone in Man United's way.
I saw one that was a GIF that was the 3 Stooges slapping each other. And it was like VAR officials in the booth. And it was, like grabbing the nose and smacking it and the hand going around the head. And it was pretty entertaining.
Look at this one. The Ferguson's great because it actually looks kind of correct. Yeah. Like it looks legit.
That's great.
Yeah, VAR still, it's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of old managers, isn't it LVG's anniversary for taking the
with the clipboard?
It was this past week.
Fell to the ground.
Yeah. Falling down to the ground.
Man, see, I mean, we got Jose back, but we need like an LVG come back. There's somebody that needs managing.
Those were the golden days of
Arsene Wenger and them slapping each other and like
tie flips and
man.
The theatrical circus that was a few managers, right?
Yeah. Love it.
So great.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Klopp was sitting in the back just going, ha, 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 ha. Just wait.
Just wait. I will break you.
Just wait.
Except for this week.
Speaking of breaking, like a breaking point for Bournemouth, man, they have a lead as they host Chelsea, and they can a lead day.
Or no, I'm sorry, 2-1 lead.
Need, and Bournemouth been a sticky thorn in Chelsea's side over the years since they've been promoted into the Premier League. They needed these 3 points, and not that this was a game going into it. I think we'd all said, if they get a point from Chelsea, that's good. But man, when they were ahead and they couldn't hold on to it, Chelsea fights back for a 2-2 draw.
Which puts Bournemouth in 18th in the relegation zone. Yes, They're tied with Watford and West Ham on points, but their goal difference is one worse than Watford at the moment. So, I mean, I think we all hope that they get out of it. But yeah, you're 2-1 up at home. And yes, Chelsea are a good team, but with little firepower up front and them relying on Marcus Alonso to get goals.
You should have parked that bus.
Which they tried. But they couldn't hold on to it for the entire game. And Alonso gets a parried rebound and just sticks it in the 85th for his second of the game. And then about a few minutes after that, he almost got a hat trick out of it. So Bournemouth
so close.
They got lucky to walk away with the one. Yeah.
Bournemouth held on in the end, but yeah, they really needed these 3 points. And for Chelsea, had a chance to move a little bit closer towards Leicester with their loss, to where those 2 additional points would have put them within 1 game, and that would have been nice for the Blues, who are trying to stay in that top 4, as Wolves and Tottenham and United and Sheffield United are all kind of chomping at the heels there.
Yeah, they had no answer for Marcus Alonso. Giroud actually had a pretty good game. He took one off the crossbar. He
should be playing more, and he is right now.
Yeah, so far, to be honest, we ain't got nobody else.
Batshuayi, and that's about it.
And
Batshuayi is just type of the guy that just never...
inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's just
disappointing in a way,
streaking and is great.
Who's he streaking to?
What?
Wasn't he doing better in Dortmund, though?
He scored a couple, but honestly, you can put your child in the Dortmund lineup up front, and she would score a hat trick in her first game. That's the system is built for a number 9. And yes, I say that kind of because Holland for them is really putting the ball in the back of the net and playing good. But look at Lewandowski in the past, Royce, Batshuayi, Paco Alcácer, they all have had these streaks to where they can put balls in the back of the net because it's built that way. But Chelsea's not built that way, and they really rely on a strong number 9 like a Diego Costa, Fernando Torres to an extent, although he wasn't the best there. But they really need that, and Giroud is an out-and-out number 9, but he's also up there in years, so he's not going to pull defense. He's not going to open up those lanes based on the speed. He's going to be talented in the box, and he can, what we saw was the last game where he scored a lovely goal that just rocketed through the back of the net. He's going to cause havoc up there, but he's not going to pull the defenders. He's not going to open up those channels and get a run in behind. So Chelsea are having to rely on the Mounts and Pedros and Williams to really be the creative forces behind their attack. And even Alonso, who's playing this left wing, more of a left wing back, who's just pushing so high up the field that they're having to rely on that for their goals.
Yeah. Well, I think a key thing here is 4 key injuries, right? Chelsea's just hurting. Christensen broke his nose against United, so he's not playing.
Right. That's how we do it.
Callum's out, Pulisic's out, N'Golo Kante's out.
Big loss.
Pulisic and N'Golo are huge losses.
You should get Hazard back. He ain't doing too much right now.
Yeah, he's not coming back to Chelsea. So I think that is a very large part of the lack of attack and
again, much like Leicester, lucky that everybody else kind of is just not having a good year.
Yeah,
it's keeping Chelsea in that top 4 spot.
Yep. Agreed.
It's such a weird year. Really awesome, and everybody else just really mediocre.
Yeah, everybody's doing kind of just the minimum. And we had one of those years like 2 or 3 years ago where everybody was just except for the top, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just got a top 1 right now.
But it is Tamari just played for this past week for the first time. So he's looking a little sprightly coming on. And it just wasn't our day. Just wasn't our day.
Yeah, but a good fight back to at least get a point out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what you want to see from a young side on the road. So, moving on.
Yeah, we didn't lose. We didn't drop the points.
No, it's a bigger it's worse on Bournemouth. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It'll just be nice to have a nice healthy squad.
But by
the way, move Jorginho back to where he belongs and put N'Golo Kante in the middle when he's healthy. Damn it.
Well,
there he is.
You're not wrong. And I would say, because we said Bournemouth drops to 18th at 27 points. Watford at 17 with 27. West Ham at 27 at 16. Brighton Hove at 28. It's still such a wild...
Really? Yeah, it's going to go down to the last day, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. And...
I did forget Kepa's injured too.
Oh, yeah.
So he didn't start.
Yeah, but he hasn't been the worst of things. I mean, what's his name? Former Man City. Caballero?
Caballero, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing terrible.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's there.
He's okay. Yeah. He is there. He is something in the way.
Yeah, that's all you need for a goal. When you break it down, that's all you need.
Moving us on, again, I just mentioned Brighton Hove at 28 points. At 15th, they hosted Crystal Palace, and they followed Crystal Palace, and that's 3 points that Palace needed to. They're at 12th right now with 36 points. They're fine.
Yeah, but
I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, and I think they are too. They're 4 points off of the magical 40 points, and they're doing fine. Good goal here by Jordan Ayew, who's been on fire as of late. But I think it's more of a real big. It hurts Brighton and Hove a hell of a lot more because while they are in 15th and 1 point above those three that are tied for that last place, they really needed a win or they really needed a draw or something out of this game. And they didn't get it. This was one that they should have had their eyes on, playing at home and getting a win off their last game, I think. They could have gotten 6 points in 2 weeks, and they just couldn't. They couldn't get it over the line. And you give Palace a little bit more time, and they do have attacking options between Zaha, Ayew, and they made him pay for it, and they almost got 2 goals against him in the very end when Zaha hit one off the post. But Graham Potter and Brighton, a little concerning here because this is one they should have gotten. And yes, they see themselves still in 15th, but like as you were just saying, that's real tight there, and they could find themselves in a scrap.
I was going to say, so Norwich, that's probably definite, and I know Aston Villa has got 25 points to Bournemouth's 27, but just the way they've been playing, Aston Villa being the next to the bottom would not shock me as the season ends out.
Yeah.
So looking at that Bournemouth, Watford, West Ham, Brighton, Newcastle just above them is probably fine. Any of those teams could be that third team easily. I don't foresee in a situation where if Aston Villa's squeaked up maybe, but any of those teams. So like you said, Brighton at least needed that point. They need to put that buffer between them and those teams just below them.
What's also crazy is Brighton Hove, for all intents and purposes, outplayed Crystal Palace for most of the match. They had the lion's share of possession. They outshot Crystal Palace. They had more touches, more passes, more tackles. They actually played a really great game. They just couldn't put it in the net.
They could not get anything going on the offense.
And that goes to a similar thing as Chelsea, where they don't really have anybody that's going to pull those lines and open up the play and really run the channels.
They don't have a
Umpai is their top
Pierre-Emerick Henry Aubameyang. They don't
that too, and they don't have a real goal scoring threat at all. And Glenn Murray came on as a sub, and God bless him, and he can still put the ball in the back, but he's 74 years old.
I love his name because Glenn Murray just sounds like the dude at the end of the pub, the old dude that
he's got his name on the seat.
Go down playing a five-a-side club and just call it a day.
It's like Norm from Cheers. Like that's what Glenn.
Right.
Like,
and Neil Umpai, who has 8 goals and 2 assists on the year, not the worst stats, but for a team that's played 28 games, you would expect him to be in the 10-goal mark, and he's just so inconsistent, and they really have nobody else to put the ball in the back of the net. I mean, Aaron Moyes, he plays in midfield, and
they need to stop letting him take corners.
Moy?
He couldn't make it past the first man on like 3 or 4 of the corners he delivered, and then the rest of them were so flat. There was no height on them, and they kind of went around the first man instead. And I just, somebody else get in there and take a damn free kick. I mean, corner kick for somebody.
Right, and where you want Aaron Moy on a corner kick is you want him sitting outside of the box to when the ball squirts out to him, he can just bang it in the back of the net because he has that long-range shot. So, yeah, absolutely, Ron. You don't need him taking corners to where he's
Why would you
not going to be as
off
effective.
Of your offensive options.
Yeah, you're
right. You want him outside the box, just being a sharpshooter out there for when the ball pops out.
Someone on the club is an average corner kicker that could take that spot.
Right.
Like, put not Matt even Ryan in there, the goalie.
Not even a great one.
Toss him down there. Davey Proper or whatever the guy's name is.
Yeah, I just kept watching him deliver it, and I remember I forget who was calling it, but I remember them going, well, that was another flat corner, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, how many has he done that? And then I went back and watched the highlights again, and man, so many flat balls and so many that, like I said, never made it past the first man. If I was a coach, I tell this to Ferris all the time. If I was a coach and you're the corner kick guy, if you don't make it past the first man, it's like a $10,000 fine every time.
Immediately.
Sorry, you have one job, and it's to put the ball in the box. You're fine.
Like, you better walk over to me and open your wallet up.
Like, I just
slide your card here.
Yes, right. It's the same thing
coming out of your paycheck, pal.
Is if any player elects to do a short corner and you're not trying to run the clock out.
Oh yeah,
same thing. If they do it on their own accord, yes, 100%.
Fines. I'd have made so much money on that game.
I loved it. Like, at this point in the Premier League, I think twice I've been you should take a short corner now. Oh, they did. Okay, good. At the we're up by a club is up by one and they
just
don't want the counter to burn them. And
makes sense. But every time I watch them at 15 minutes into the first half and they do a short corner,
specific play, like something that looked like they'd practice for.
That's
What's
fair.
The point?
So they do the short corner and then they send the ball back wide to the middle field and you're like, what was the point? You just completely denied yourself of a good goal scoring opportunity.
Just get the ball in the front, even if it's messy, it might go in. Just let it happen. Like I agree. I hate that. Ferris, I love your title for the next one.
That's the only way to make this game spicy.
Where Newcastle is at Burnley. Or sorry, Burnley is at Newcastle. I've done that 3 times now.
That's all right.
And you called it the Great Pie Derby, and it makes me happy.
Steve Bruce and Sean Dyche, you know they can eat some other pies. Oh, that's pretty much all about that game. I didn't even catch the highlights of this.
I did.
0-0. Was there any highlights from it? A good throw-in, maybe? A nice, crisp pass down the line?
Nice crisp packet of crisps. So that's what you being munched on the side.
I think
hookah pies was that on the sidelines for?
The highlights were about 13 minutes long, and I had about a 10-minute nap.
How do you get 13 minutes out of this game?
Well, you get to watch them put the ball out of bounds, shoot the ball really wide,
walk out of the tunnel.
You're watching. Are you watching Orlando City, or are you watching?
We'll get to that.
Walking out of the tunnel.
Yeah. Sorry, Newcastle Burnley fans. That's all we got.
You got to admit, though, that was a completely lackluster match.
Not lackluster. The next match for West Ham.
Oh, they needed that one.
They did. They win 3-1 against Southampton. Southampton did not need that.
And a good goal in here by Jared Bowen, which came in on, I don't know, deadline day, but came in during the winter transfer window. Gets his first goal for the club. And that kind of opened up the floodgates as he scored in the 15th. And then Sebastian Halle finally gets back on the board on the 40th to make it 2-1. And then a very good worked goal that led to Mikel Antonio. Good finish in the 54th, but over a Southampton team who've been playing well and picking up wins, and importantly, West Ham needed this.
Gets them out of that relegation danger.
Yeah, barely,
you're still in that danger zone, but
you're tied for the danger zone.
Yeah. Right, but if you think about it, those 2 extra goals that made it 3-1 put them above Watford. At the time. Well, yeah, above Watford and also above Bournemouth at the time.
Yep.
So that was very, very good win. I mean, can David Moyes keep them 16th and then going back up the table for the rest of the year? I mean, that's yet to be determined, but I do think Jared Bowen is going to be they're going to need to rely on him a lot and really look for his wing play to be effective and open up those lanes for Haller and who's the big lad? Carroll and some of those guys.
Mr. Carroll.
Yep.
So nut it in the back of the net.
Exactly.
Yeah.
West Ham's next 5 matches: Arsenal, Wolves, Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle.
Ooh.
They got a hard road ahead.
Oh, I forgot it's Arsenal's their next one, right? That's what it is next weekend. The London Derby.
That'll be a nice 1-1 draw.
know, man.
We'll see.
Things are looking up. I'm feeling positive. Feeling good about the world.
Okay, you guys just got knocked out of the Europa League. I want to go.
Hey, it's great. Get us out of there. Because I don't care about the Europa League. I need you to focus on the Premier League because I got a bet with Ferris.
Europa League may have been your only way to get back in the Champions League.
I don't care about that. It's more important that this bet happens between you and I where Arsenal catches up and passes Man United.
Because you just don't want to drink a Snapperhead.
Well, I mean, look, we can make it.
I didn't want to lose another bet on this damn pod.
That would be so great.
I really don't.
I can't wait to see what you're going to try and mix into it to make it better.
I'm debating just if I lose, just shotgunning the damn thing and just praying that I don't puke it all up on the mic before I'm done.
Well, look, I mean, we're gonna, whoever loses got to drink that butternut brewery red snapper, whatever.
Snapperhead, isn't that what
Snapperhead
it's called?
Snapperhead Farmhouse IPA.
The hell?
But I mean,
It's a bunch of bull.
it could get worse, guys. I forgot I got another can of Cookie Puss.
Oh, do you really?
Oh,
I forgot. Because it was a 4-pack.
yeah.
And we only had this. Oh,
That was the infamous burp.
Oh, it's a 4-pack. I'm just saying. So as the season goes, another layer to this bet could be made. A little double or nothing.
okay, hold on. If whoever loses our bet, do we have the option of changing out the Snapperhead for the Cookie Puss?
No.
I don't know that there's a better option because remember the Cookie Puss is twice the size of the Snapperhead.
I understand that, but at this point, I think I would rather go with the Cookie Puss.
You should on the Snapperhead.
Yeah, you should go Snapperhead.
All right.
This is in addition.
Okay. No, I'm not. If I have to do both of those, my stomach's gonna fall out of my.
It's gonna be
anus if that happens.
a big gulp that we just pour them both into.
Lunch lady style.
You wait. Something's gonna happen. Let me add to that bet.
My stomach. Give me this good beer because my stomach's already hurting thinking about it.
I can't wait.
Hey guys, can I introduce the next game?
Speaking of stomach hurting,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can I introduce the next game?
Hit it,
I just want to say this. I just want to say the score line and then the headline: Watford 3, Liverpool 0. SAR is a nightmare to the invincible dream. Piss off, Liverpool.
hey man, there we go. Arsenal holds on to the invincible.
They're still like 75 points above everybody else or
Did
whatever.
you see the tweet that Arsenal put out
Immediately. That was pretty great.
Oh man, so great.
Well, and like here's the thing. I think
this is crazy. I mean, Liverpool's got a stacked schedule. They have to, but I mean, for Watford to be terrible in the relegation zone, not playing well.
No, Man United just beat him the week before 3-0.
Right.
So then now Sarr wasn't in the lineup against United. I think this is his first game back in a while. And it is insane. But you watched the first half, which is what I watched, and then I caught a little bit of the second half, so I missed all the fun stuff. But the first half, Watford were the better team.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, they lost Gerard Deulofeu, who was tearing Liverpool's team, and Trent Alexander-Arnold up in the first half. They lost him due to injury in the first half. So you're going, oh my gosh, the bright spot for Watford out with injury. How are they going to survive? And they came out in the second half almost even better than that. And Tony Soundsgood came into the office earlier in the week and said, oh my God, I can't believe we almost lost to West Ham and they almost ruined the entire thing. I said, okay, listen, at some point you guys are going to drop points. In nowadays game, it's going to be very, very difficult with the level of talent that is in the Premier League to do what Arsenal did and do the invincible year. And you need some luck and you need all those things, which they had with like against United when Arsenal were playing a Ruud van Nistelrooy penalty save. And that was a big turning point in the year and all of that. But they were always going to drop points. I just don't think anybody thought it was going to be Watford for Liverpool.
I think they just hit that point where they get kind of lethargic,
They look tired, yeah.
They were just...
You know what sucks, though? The team that's got to play Liverpool next.
Oh, they're going to get annihilated.
And it's the Cherries, brothers. It is Bournemouth,
Well, Eddie Howe's
followed
not set up for that
by
one.
Everton, followed by Crystal Palace, followed by Man City, then Aston Villa. It is a very easy run for Liverpool.
Yeah.
But I tell you, Bournemouth, that could be like a 5-0. Liverpool was going to come out
Everton.
swinging in that game.
I mean, I don't know. That's actually not an easy as run as you think, because Bournemouth are now having to fight for their lives. Everton's much better with Carlo Ancelotti there, and Man City are now having a little bit to play for.
He's not going to be there because he got a red card at the end of the game.
He'll be there. He'll be for that game. He's not going to be here for the next game, but he'll be there for that game. So, I mean, listen, everybody knows that Liverpool is going to win the league, so this one loss isn't going to do a whole lot to that title. It kind of gets them off of the invincible dream, thought. And now I'm sure Klopp's saying, it's one loss. We got to focus on winning this and playing well in the Champions League, which they lost earlier in the week too. They had 2 losses in 1 week.
Yeah.
Which it's a long year. And yes, they have a lot of talent, not a whole lot of depth. And when you come against a Watford team who come off a 3-0 loss the week before, have a very electric player in Sarr in the lineup, it was kind of brewing for this to happen. And after the first half, you're going, can Watford hang on to it? Not only did they hang on to it, they put 3 past them and held the Salahs and Firminos and Sanes to 0 in this game.
Yeah.
I think there was some pretty poor goaltending actually by Alisson Becker too, who may have come out early on a few and allowed like Troy Deeney and
he got stuck in no man's land.
Yeah, he did a couple times, but
they did not treat Watford as if they were as dangerous as they could have ended up being.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this happens to a lot of those teams that are just on a run and they're just crushing it. They end up losing to somebody they have no business.
Who was it last year, Man City? It was Crystal Palace, right? Didn't they stop the dream early on?
Yeah. And, you need those. These wins are losses are ultimately important because it reminds the team that's cruising that you can still lose. So get your together and move on, right? And that's what this is going to be. The problem on the other side of the turf, Watford's winger out for the season. ACL injury, meniscus tear.
I didn't see that, but he is
done.
out.
Yeah, well, I tell you what sucks too is like that's that might be win a battle, lose the war situation in your fight for relegation.
Yeah, maybe.
Or not to be relegated.
Right. And with that said, Liverpool are 5th now on the longest unbeaten runs in Europe's top 5 leagues. So they had 44 games.
422 days or something like that.
So January 19th of last year, right?
Yep. Juventus is in 4th, the 2011-2012 year with 49 games. Arsenal, the 2003-2004 year with the invincible year, 49 games. Bayern Munich, 2012-2014, 53 games. And then AC Milan, number 1, 1991 to 1993 with 58 games. So Liverpool's definitely up there with some of the best sides to have played the game. And a good run for them, but
this is one of the best teams that's ever played in Europe. I mean, this particular year. I mean, there's still no doubt to that. They're great. Even if they have a slump at this point, they're still phenomenal. Speaking of slumps, great one. Get mauled by some Wolves. Spurs host the Wolves
at home.
Man, like at home, that beautiful new stadium. First out the gate, it was Tottenham, right? Yeah, Spurs get the first goal.
Bergwijn again, good.
13 minutes in.
Crashing on net.
And but then quickly followed about 13 minutes later is the Wolves. They answer.
Doherty, yeah.
And then Tottenham scores again at the half. And then again the Wolves answer at 57 minutes. And then Mr. Jimenez at the 73rd. And the Wolves win 3-2.
What a great match.
Dude, it was... yes, and yes, but I feel like in a way the Spurs were lucky it wasn't worse. They just had a weird vibe in that game.
Poor on defense, no goal scoring threat up front. It's they're just gonna fight to even get close, or not close, but even just stay in Europe's contention, because with Son out for the year and Kane still not back yet, they need Kane back something fierce. But you don't want to rush him back, which is relying on Bergwijn and Ali, I guess, to put the ball in the back of the net. And he did that early on, but then the defense just giving up some poor goals. And Jota's been on a good run, so is Jimenez. But, man, Tottenham, you got to figure it out quickly.
And Tottenham getting hit on some classic counter-attacking style.
Exactly. Yep.
And I don't think this is the great one at all. I think he really walked into a a situation that was about to explode worse for Pochettino.
Yeah, but I mean, there has been some really brutal injuries. I mean, losing Kane and Son has been really tough. So I don't think it's Mourinho's best years, but I think about it. I mean, you want to name 2 players for Liverpool. That's like losing Sane and Salah. Like, it's rough. It's a rough
but
go
the
of
difference is, though, they still have people that could jump into those spots.
Divock Origi and some of those, I don't know.
And be competitive. The Spurs got into the news because they didn't add players for a couple of windows, and this is where it's biting them.
Yeah, and they added Bergwijn, who's now put in 2 for them and looks very bright, but yeah, they have never really gone in for another number 9 that
he built up that team
fill in for Kane when he's injured.
I feel like he built up that team to last year to where they were as good as they were going to get, and they did not build out for long term.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when you have young talent like Ali and Kane, though, Eriksen was always going to go. Son had no intention of going, so he stays. You kind of have a good core, but then once that core starts to get injured, your plan goes to
yeah,
especially in the short term. So Mourinho right now is probably just thinking, we just got to stay in Europe, stay in either
Sheffield United said, good luck.
Yeah,
we're coming for you.
Just stay in those top 6 places and then reload in the offseason and come back. But Wolves, on the other hand, moves up to 6 and moves 2 points above Tottenham, and they are not only playing well in Europa League, they're playing well in the Premier League. And I think that was a lot of question going into it, is how are they going to be able to handle both leagues? And they're handling it very well.
What if Sheffield and Wolves managed to boot out the normal clubs for those 2 Europa spots?
It's possible.
Yeah. We were just talking about Tottenham's injury woes. Harry Kane is likely to be out for the next 3 months with his hamstring injury.
That's pretty much the year.
Yeah. He might come back for 1 or 2 at the end. Sissoko still has his knee injury. He underwent surgery to fix that. So they're not saying his season's over, but
I look at too bright.
Yeah. And then the same thing for Son. Son's injury, he's still out for between 6 to 12 weeks. So it's not looking good for the Spurs with those 3 key injuries.
I don't know. I'm so curious to know how the Mourinho thing is going to go here, because
I think it'll go okay. He came in the middle of the season. He's got no depth. He was handed a pile of shit.
Well,
a lot of injuries. Yeah.
Well, I kind of mean in that respect, like because he always had problems at Chelsea with sometimes them not giving him what he wanted. We're all saying you can kind of see what is needed. Will that front office do that? Will they?
Well,
that
throw remains to be seen. But they don't have a strong track record really of helping.
It's just a rare situation where instead of the implosion that happens with a Mourinho after a few years, I can see the other way around where he's like, I'm done with you.
Yeah, I mean, and
there's a better offer on the table somewhere. That's what I could see happening. Because if you're going to bring in the great one, you better be ready to throw something, which is what everybody said too. Cool, you better be ready to spend some money.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed.
Next we go over to Everton, who are robbed by VAR of 3 points as they draw 1-1 to Man United.
Oh, jeez.
The best part of this whole game is that De Gea gets completely embarrassed.
Yeah.
Completely embarrassed.
You don't know what, like, and that's like Everton had a few chances, but for the most part, United, especially in the first half, really dominated play. Second half, it was even. I do think ending the game in a 1-1 draw is a fair result for the game. But De Gea, what are you doing, man? He's so brilliant at times, but then he has these weird turn off moments, and he's not being pressured that much. He's just taking his time with the ball and not just making a decision and playing out a pass. He sometimes does what I do in games and just hangs on to it for far too long and just overthinks, and then when it's time to commit, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's right on top of him and honestly just does one of those like sticking out a boot as he jumps in the air to hopefully get something on the ball.
Looked like something at like a middle schooler's soccer match.
And the ball just bounced off of him and went right into the goal. And this is like, the third minute? And you're like, what are you thinking?
Should not.
Not at this level, no.
Yeah, it's just an interesting game all the way around.
And then even in that VAR, a sort of
well, hold on. Hold on. Ferris's man crush first. Bruno Fernandes, lovely goal. His first open play goal. He now has 3 goals for United, 2 pens, and a lovely open play goal. Just a nice strike from outside the box. There's a little bit of stick given to Jordan Pickford for being kind of one he should have saved. In fairness, that ball was lower to the ground and had a little bit of a backspin on it and bounced right before Pickford. Anytime that ball bounces before a goalie, it adds a little bit of chaos to them in terms of where's it going to bounce, opposed to a straight shot where they can kind of judge in the air. This kind of curved, dropped right before him, bounced, and then went under his handed in. But this is what United's been missing, is somebody that will open up the play, take shots from outside, take a chance, put ball on net. Again, this should have been saved probably, but he took it, and it was a lovely goal, and it kind of got United back into the game and really sent them going into half on a good note. And then the second half got a little feisty.
I'll tell you what,
a lot of yellow cards, a lot of...
Guess how many?
Wasn't it 7?
I was thinking
it was 7.
Was it 7?
Right.
Oh wow,
7 yellow cards.
That's a lot.
It was a good game in the second half with chances both ways. Agalu came on and almost netted one, but had it not been for Pickford diving across goal, and then it gets turned the other way for then what becomes this VAR.
So there's this confusion of the VAR
winning
that comes down to like, because he moved.
Well, hold on.
It should be
describe the play to begin with.
So So essentially, here's what happens. Gylfi Sigurdsson and
he thinks he should get the PK.
Richarlison. Even before that, they break up a play. Richarlison and Gylfi Sigurdsson are rushing on. Gylfi Sigurdsson tries to put it past De Gea, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka comes in and just cleans him out, which everybody that I've listened to has been like, that's a penalty in the box.
That's the other weird thing about the VAR.
So let's just put that to the side a second.
Let's put a pin in that one.
You're right. Jeez. Put a pin in that one.
God.
Right? So
freaking
the ball is pinging around. Calvert-Lewin corrals the ball, fires it right through Harry Maguire's legs, except it tags Harry Maguire, and the ball pings off the defender's foot and gets diverted.
It was going to be an own goal, basically.
Right, more toward the near post, right? It was headed, it's probably not going to be an own goal because it was going to be a shot on goal.
Right, well,
right?
That's true, yeah.
So it gets diverted to the near post. Now, the problem is that Sigurdsson, who got taken out in that exact spot seconds before, is still laying basically prone on the field, right? So he's still kind of waiting for his penalty, but he's not going to get one. The ball is just zipping right for his feet off of Harry Maguire's feet. Gylfi Sigurdsson has the presence of mind to curl his legs in so that the ball can bypass him untouched and go into the net, while De Gea is going the complete opposite direction.
Caught with his pants down.
So that's
not literally.
That's essentially what had happened. But at the time,
you thought the VAR was going to go back to that tackle on Gylfi.
Right. So they go to a VAR.
Did they even go back that far?
I don't think they did.
Or was it just about the offsides call?
I think it was just the offsides call. Right.
So I'm so confused.
So there's two things. One, they completely forgot about. The call on the field was that there was no penalty to Gylfi Sigurdsson, right? So even if they got that right, let's just dismiss that, take the pin out, throw it away. Gylfi Sigurdsson, from an offside position, laying prone on the floor with David De Gea standing above him. The call is that David De Gea was going the wrong way because a person prone on the floor screwed up his vision.
Now,
by the letter of the rule, they are correct. He is in an offside position. He is immediately affecting the play. Well, now, by that letter of rote, okay, I will say okay. But for the Manchester United team to come out and say that Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's laying prone on the floor, obstructed De Gea's view is complete horseshit.
De Gea is going the complete opposite direction regardless.
Correct, because it's the deflection off of Maguire that puts the ball going the other way. So I'm of two minds. One, they got it right from the letter of rule. So my thing is, the letter of rule should be amended to make that a little more situationally based and to allow the referee to make that decision, not the VAR telling him he got it wrong.
And I heard to make the argument of like Gylfi, like, this is why you keep playing, get up. But these players have been trained by the referees that if they do that, there is a good chance the penalty will not be called if they feel like it's a penalty, because it's happened before.
Right.
So he goes down to draw it's such a,
right.
We've created such a weird situation. Like, yes, in the end, Gylfi got in the way. But on the other hand, if he doesn't go down and stay there, and then you think, well, I'll get VAR on this. And I just want to know if they even did. Did they even go back?
No. And the reason they didn't go back is I'm rewatching it. Saka came across with a lovely tackle. He got all ball. He never got Gylfi. So I was wondering when you guys sitting here saying that, I'm like,
you're telling me
he got cleaned out?
You're telling me the ref could see that cleanly.
Well, but they never went back and VAR'd it because it was a clean tackle. That's what I'm getting at. Is there was no need
not
for
according to NBC Soccer.
Yeah,
NBC
they thought it
right, but they never checked it because it was a lovely tackle. So and
says the Manchester United fan.
Says VAR, says the ref, says everybody else that
they didn't VAR,
and says the ref. I mean, you can't really argue it
anymore. We do it all the time. What are you talking about? You can't argue it. That's our whole podcast. We argue
it.
But
it wasn't VAR because of why. Go back and watch the tackle. It's a clean tackle. Yes, it's in the box and he goes for it and people go falling over, but that's part of it. He never just took out Gylfi. What's weird is, and Ron, I agree with you, with something like this, I was caught in a rock and a hard place because, De Gea's going the opposite way, but the way the rule is written, that's what VAR went back and saw, that he's in the sight line of the goalie and can affect the play. And pulling his leg back is all great and good, but he's still in an offside position, sitting right in front of the goalie. So
except there's the line of sight. De Gea's line of sight is not blocked.
No, it's not obstructed at all.
There are legs in that way. So as he's shooting,
whose legs?
Gylfi's right in front of him,
laying down on the floor.
So,
how is that obstructing the guy? The guy's 6 feet 5 inches tall.
Where's the ball odds are going to come in on the floor?
Well,
so he doesn't.
It's like
he doesn't
4
know
yards
that,
out.
Who? What?
The ball?
No, the ball's outside of the 6-yard box.
The ball's right there.
So let me ask you this: what if Gylfi was standing up and moved out of the way? Is it still offside?
Correct. It would have been called the same.
That would have been way more obvious.
So their hang up then, what I'm saying is their hang up is, they didn't call it at first because he was laying on the ground. So then VAR says,
to be honest, his vision is not obstructed. It's not obstructed in the least.
Yeah, but I don't think that's in the law. I think it's something to do with.
But you know what is in the law?
Affecting the play from an offside
position.
That's
what the call is. It's an offsides because it's an offside and he was obstructing the keeper's vision. The Premier League, the refs came out and said it.
But this still goes back to the thing that, as Arlo White said a ton of times, that they still aren't actually using VAR for, which is clear and obvious errors.
Yeah.
Does it constitute a clear and obvious error? Right.
So here's what the Premier League came out and said after the craziness, right? Because, and something we didn't tell you is that while we're all arguing is that the next play is a corner kick that basically goes to nothing for Everton, and then and then the end of the game. So Ancelotti goes to the refs and he starts talking to them. He talks to another ref, comes back, talks to the main ref again, gets red carded, gets sent off.
I feel like that was a little harsh. Ancelotti's a gentleman.
We don't know what he said.
He's a gentleman.
So then, allegedly, Ancelotti goes to the referee's dressing room and they have a nice little chat, but no one will say what was said. Then about 30 minutes later, the Premier League came out and said the following. In the 91st minute of the Everton versus Manchester United, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goal was disallowed following a VAR review for an offside offense against Gylfi Sigurdsson. The on-field decision was to award the goal, but the VAR advised the referee that Sigurdsson was in an offside position directly impairing the vision of David De Gea and made an obvious action that impacted De Gea's ability to make the save. Now, I agree that he is offsides. I completely disagree that he impacted David De Gea's ability to make decisions.
Making an action? I don't even think that way.
The only way that I would have believed that is if it didn't come off of Maguire and get redirected. You see this all the time where a goaltender's going one way, it comes off his defender and goes into the other corner, and he's totally screwed.
Right, but to what you just showed me, the first sentence or the first part of this is the attacker is in the line of vision of the goalkeeper when the ball is played
on the ground.
But you're still in the line, whether or not you're on the ground. If Ron's sitting on the ground right here in the studio and I'm looking at, I can still see him. He's still in my line of vision, not my peripheral vision, not where you're sitting. He's still in my line of vision. Now, we can argue the fact that when the ball is moving towards the goalie, in addition, the attacker makes a clear movement which impedes the goalie's actions. Yes, we can argue that all day long because he does make a movement to pull his leg back, and in theory, if De Gea didn't move, you can go, okay, that then impeded the goalkeeper's actions. What makes this so weird is that he's diving in the opposite direction from Maguire. So yes, and that's where when we were texting back and forth, I'm going, man,
that's where this
is correct, but it's so weird because it hit Maguire first, which then caused De Gea to go the opposite
absolutely killing the game though, because people don't even know whether to cheer.
Well, yes, that's
hey, somebody scored. Let's wait and find out if we can keep it.
It sucks because there's nothing like the release of a score in a soccer match, and that is just not even talking about what teams are playing here. It just robs the situation of what makes the game so. And if they don't fix that VAR. Also, as one person I saw on Twitter say, they had a blast coming to America and went to a couple of American football games. And their favorite thing was, I thought you guys did too much instant replay, but I liked the ref would come out and go. After the ruling, it was determined that so-and-so died. Yeah. He was like, because what I hate is sitting in this pitch that I pay all this money to get into the stadium, and I don't understand.
I've been saying that for
like we're saying
2 years.
Wait, did you even go back and look at the Sigurdsson goal? Where someone come out and go, they could say there was a clean tackle on Sigurdsson followed by an offsides by him, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Just say it.
Just clip it along and move on.
Yeah. Even if you don't want to look at an NFL, they announce it. You put it on the Jumbotron. We get it at home. Like they're talking about it. Just do something.
In the MLS, we don't get replays.
No, but even if you just put someone's job, this graphic goes on the screen and it says, gold, whatever, this awarded to so-and-so, blah, blah.
Yeah, they do in most Premier League stadiums, they do the Premier League thing that says decision, no goal. But
they don't say why or...
Correct. And some stadiums don't have it. Old Trafford doesn't have a Jumbotron to where it shows that.
Right.
So that's what's weird. And it would be nice.
This guy was specifically saying for the money I spend to go to these games.
Yeah.
It frustrates me that I don't understand what's happening while I'm there.
Agreed.
Especially after you just freak out with all your friends and you cheer and stuff, then, oh no, because when it was when it's an offsides, it's an immediate cheer and, oh crap, the flag. It's so fast on top of it,
Yeah. Well, I amend my previous statement on the, Bissaka. Bissaka comes across, Gylfi gets the shot off, and then it's the follow through of the tackle. It wasn't before or after the shot had already gone on and whatnot. So I think that's probably why they never went back. He didn't actually get. They're not giving me a really good camera angle, so I'm just trying to scroll back and look. And
man, you only end up with a point. I'm a little closer to my bet. That's all that matters.
Well, in other league news, moving on.
Well,
right?
Well, still the same country.
Yeah, but a different league.
It's the League Cup.
Yep. It's the Chupacabra Cup. I love that you just put it on there. The Carabao Cup. The Chupacabra Cup.
Aston Villa and Manchester City go head to head.
And Villa? I mean,
Villa was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Just couldn't handle, really. I mean, they did. I think they didn't have an answer for Rodri most of it. He was kind of tearing them up throughout. Aguero gets a goal in the 20th minute. Samata? I can't read your. Yeah. Samata. What?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Samata.
What's the Samata with you?
Oh, there it is.
Brings Aston Villa equal in the 41st. Oh, no, I missed that. Sorry. So Manchester, I'm totally botching this. Sorry.
There he is.
Aguero and Rodri score in the 20th and 30th minute, respectively. Then Samata comes in just before the half and puts one in the back of the net. And then the second half is largely not that exciting. There was some Aston Villa was trying, but at the end of the day, Manchester City's defense is just too good, and Manchester City win it.
Which is their third Chupacabra Cup in a row.
This one a little less definitive. I mean, they won it, but it was against Aston Villa. It should have not.
But more silverware to the team that's banned from Europe for 2 years.
Oh, boy, we haven't even.
Got to get that
again. I just feel like you know, when they got rid of Emery, Mikel Arteta was like, "Hey, Arsenal, do you guys want to? I saw some stuff back here. I don't want to be here anymore. Can I come coach at Arsenal? Can I come be the manager at Arsenal? Like, because some people saying, you know, I'm surprised in State City because if Pep leaves, he's the man to take over. And man, jeez, just a crazy.
Him and the accountant must have had some drinks one night, and he found out some stuff that
he's like, I'm out. Right?
I'm out of here.
I'm out.
So, real quick, a couple of quick games of note for next week. Match day 29 of 38. We talked about Liverpool and Bournemouth. That should be fun. Wolves and Brighton. I think that's going to be one of the more fun.
Wolves
of the
fighting
week.
for life. I mean, Brighton fighting for life, and Wolves fighting to stay in that top.
Sheffield United versus Norwich. I just want to see them cruise on. Billy Sharp.
There he is.
And the Manchester Derby is Sunday the 8th.
Should be an interesting game now. Both teams playing pretty well, so should be interesting indeed.
For the first time ever, go City. Blake doesn't want to drink a crappy beer.
You're a mean man. $5, we win the game from some VAR.
oh God. That's good.
A VAR decision. Oh, that'd be so great. De Gea scores a goal.
Can't wait.
To make up for his complete crap of the first
he made
minute.
some good saves. The goal that Gylfi tried to score, where we thought it was a foul, he made a great kick save, like one of his patented stick of right boot out saves. He had some good saves in that game, but he's just prone to these dumb errors every now and again.
Does this move us on to our flight of MLS?
I believe it does.
As MLS has its opening weekend.
Yeah. It's good that the MLS is back. Yay for the excitement. Yeah, I can have everybody so excited. Yeah.
We went to the Orlando City opening. It's pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, it was just good to be back in the stadium, and good that the MLS is gracing our TV streams and airwaves on a Saturday and Sunday afternoon when there's nothing on but what do they got on nowadays?
Hockey?
Beachcombing?
Hockey and...
didn't baseball start?
I think baseball's in spring training.
I think there's a curling competition on.
Curling.
Yeah.
A little NASCAR on there.
I'm terrible. I don't know what's going on.
So yeah, it's good that they're back. Thierry Henry, new coach of the Montreal Impact. A little bit of news.
First win.
Yeah, a little bit of news in the offseason, and gets a first win. Left it a little bit late, but good win at home and get your first win, and sends the Impact off on a bright note in the Thierry Henry days.
Sorry, I did want to add for the kickoff of MLS in general. getting Hans Zimmer to write a score.
Yes, I have not heard it yet. Is it good?
I didn't hear it either.
What, guys? Okay, as soon as it's over, we're going to play it on the computer through these speakers. Yeah, I mean, he writes great music scores.
Yeah.
And you hear it, I was like, okay, cool. So is this going to be like John Williams' Olympic theme? Is this going to always play when MLS stuff happens? I wouldn't know because I had a block out, even though I should have been able to watch.
It wasn't on one of the local 65 channels or whatever.
I was very frustrated with that.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the MLS has some complete bullshit blackout rules,
terrible.
Kind of like the NFL does. If
they're not the NFL.
If the game, I agree, but they sign their contracts in weird ways to,
and it's been different from year to year. A few for a while though, Orlando was like, we're not going to do any blockouts, and I don't know. It's.
So you didn't see the game at all?
No, I had to go and watch highlights. Yeah.
What really sucks is ultimately the MLS is making money off of these TV deals, but all it does is hurt the fans.
It does, because right now you just want to make access so easy that you gain fans. It's like,
especially when your team is coming off of 5 years of suck.
Yeah.
And you want all the fans watching you can get.
That's the downside of a franchised, unified league, in that they're not making the rules. Maybe Orlando City would want to do that, but they can't, and so everybody has to behave the same, whether you are in a market like LA or you're, in Utah. It's a frustrating, it's a frustrating situation.
You can't even say it's the no fun league. You got to come up with some other thing.
No, but this Hans Zimmer song,
mostly
cool.
All right, I'll listen to it.
Mostly listless soccer.
Yeah, mostly listless.
Yeah, that's not a bad way. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the big news is actually probably the next game is the Nashville
out of the weekend. Yeah,
SC versus Atlanta United.
Nashville on their debut.
They lose 1-2 to Atlanta, and Atlanta wins the game, but might have just lost the war because Joseph Martinez ACL. He gone
for the year in like the 60th minute or so. Kind of a weird freak fall. Like it was a tackle. The tackle wasn't dirty by any means. It was a stand up tackle, and he just kind of came down wrong on his leg and his knee.
And if you're an Atlanta fan,
that
just sucks. You got your season ticket and you're all excited for the next home game, and then to see Joseph Martinez play, and nope.
Yeah, and was this? I have Nashville playing at home, but I might have been wrong on this.
Wasn't it at home? I thought it, or was it not?
I thought Atlanta was home, but I could be. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Well, Nashville says that weird thing with their stadium where they're playing.
Oh, that's right. That's what I might have.
They didn't know if they were going to open the season. I'd have to double check who was where, but they're playing in a temporary, facility for the moment.
That's what I'm probably thinking of.
But man, that's a big loss. I mean, that's a loss early on. That's like, ooh, that's got playoff implications.
It hurts.
They're playing at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, which I think is where Titans play, maybe.
That might be it. Yeah. But Nashville, welcome to the league. Another Southern club.
Mm-hmm.
And the first ever goal scored, pretty goal by Nashville player Zimmerman, the 28th.
Hans Zimmerman. Walker Zimmerman, who was an off-season late trade that came over from LAFC. So a very good signing for them, and it's going to hopefully help them in defense to not get scored on a crap ton this year, and ends up putting one away early on. So,
and what a cool celebration they had. It was just fun to see how much that meant to all those players, to put that one in the back of the net in the run of play, which is something even Orlando didn't do for our first goal.
Well, right, and it wasn't in the run of play. It was actually off of a set piece, but kind of bounced around a bit, but tied the game up. And it was, it was. You're right. It was just like this euphoric goal that kind of had everybody going, we can breathe. Like, we'll score a goal. Right. Now that first goal is out of the way. Now just carry on with the game.
Right. That leads us down to the next match, Seattle Sounders FC going against the Chicago Fire. And Seattle comes away with the points on that one off of 2 Jordan Morris goals.
He's back.
Barely, though. Barely, because Chicago looked the better team for a majority of this in Seattle.
Yeah. And Chicago was up 1-0 in the 46th off of a goal from Barrick. And then Jordan Morris comes back in the 62nd, and then they leave it way late in the 90th +3, Jordan Morris is able to find the back of the net, and Seattle moves on with 3.
Yeah, they need to play a lot better. They were recently knocked out of the CONCACAF Champions League. I think the only MLS team to get knocked out, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they did not look the better team in this by far. Chicago with their new logo, by the way. Did you guys?
Yeah, saw that.
Notice that? Yeah,
I think it's terrible.
I think it is too.
I love the ones that somebody did, some better offshoot ones that had like the 2 axes on it. It was more modern looking, but had 2 axes.
Yeah.
To drop the fireman, it's such a weird identity drop. It's one thing to change your logo and carry something over from your past, but it's just an odd. What is it? It's so.
Yeah.
It's such a weird, especially for a club that's got a good like following. That's what I find strange.
Yeah, and like Jordan Morris really ignited them and got 2 goals, and they're one of the kits with the new kits with the 3 stripes. That actually doesn't look too bad for Seattle.
There's like 2 or 3 teams that
Seattle's
looks good.
Looks good.
I think Atlanta's looks good, and is it the Rapids? I think it's the Rapids, or is it Sporting KC? I don't know. One of those 2. Those look good. The rest of it kind of looks like
yeah. It's not impressive.
Which then brings us to LAFC reigning on Inter Miami.
Whoa. No, that's a typo.
Is it?
Yeah, you got Inter Miami CF. That team doesn't exist. They've been trying to get a team in Miami for years.
Oh.
They haven't started yet.
Inter Miami didn't start?
See, I'm joshing. And it's been such a hard BS run of them trying to get a club going.
Ron is so confused right now.
Because
didn't they start?
I was watching the highlights in the background, and I really thought so you confused me.
But that's because it's so ridiculous.
So it's Inter Milan FC. Does anybody know what the CF stands for?
Yes, it's club football, right? But it's in Spanish, but it's the English version. Because they have a Spanish name.
It's Club Internacional de Football. It's not in an English version.
No, but I'm saying so the FC known in English is FC, but it means football club.
CF, yes.
Yeah. Right. Or Club de Football. Yes.
Club Internacional de Football.
Yeah.
Well, they're Inter Miami, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, they lose. Damn, that was the hardest scoreline to get out.
Yeah, they actually didn't play terribly. I mean, LAFC dominated a majority of this game. Again, they're coming off of a win in the CONCACAF Champions League to where they advance.
I'm so happy that Ron made that. He literally their run to become a club has been so. I mean, okay. Can I just ask this?
Go ahead.
Does it feel like instead of a release, like they've been working and working and working? Oh, we're going to have a club name. We're going to have a club name. Remember, it was going to be light blue at one point. Their colors have gone all over the place. Doesn't it feel like instead of finally exploding out and honestly having a club, that it just sort of limped across the finish line?
Yeah, it was very much
now exists.
It's very much like,
oh, there they are. And I don't mean the game. I just mean like in general, getting the club out there. It was like, oh, you guys, now you did it.
Yeah, and they don't even have a shirt sponsor yet, by the way. It's just a plain kit, and they did it. But they made a good signing that I'm really curious to see how he plays throughout the year. Rodolfo Pizarro came in fairly late, and they have Will Trapp on their team, which is a U.S. men's international player. So they have some players there that they will pick up some wins, but it is going to be one of those. It's not going to be an Atlanta United expansion type team.
When are they going to get their stadium?
Who?
Miami.
Have they broken ground yet? Have they found ground?
Isn't it like this? Well, I mean,
Everglades. Like I don't know where it's at.
Hey, what happened to? You need a soccer specific stadium.
Well, that's where remember Nashville SC
when you have David
was in a mess because there was
and Atlanta did the same thing.
Yeah. MLS was freaking out on them because something wasn't settled about their But then they were like, you need to back off because other clubs didn't. Minnesota relax, let us get a and of course they're really like, and what is happening?
We have to have plans for
in freaking NYCFC? Like, get off our back. Like, the MLS is very vague, inconsistent way. I mean, no, I like our stadium, but we really had to push forward to make it happen because they weren't going to give us a team here, even though they had proven they could sell tickets, but yet again, you're like, well, NYCFC plays on a children's pitch.
Okay, so for anybody that's confused like me, I just went on the MLS website to find out the exact name of Miami, and it is Inter Miami CF.
Correct, but I was saying, what does the CF stand for? And I had to look it up.
That's because the Spanish name is what he said. The actual name is...
Yeah, but then you said Inter Milan.
No.
It's Inter Miami CF.
Yeah, but you were correcting me and said Inter Milan.
No.
Go back and rewind the tape.
Football champion.
Oh, I'm sure I might have said Inter Milan, but yeah. But
you guys are so confused.
Right. What I meant was Inter Miami CF. Yes, I mean, because there's only one other Inter out there. It's Inter Milan, not Inter Miami, which is why they're being sued right now.
Yeah. So what was?
Whoa! Hold on.
We just discussed that in the last episode.
Why did you say that team doesn't exist?
Because I was
making a joke that it took forever. Yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah. I followed you, Blake. I got you.
It's just finally Ron just figured out.
Yes, exactly.
Jesus Christ,
man, that's kind of hysterical because
the gift that keeps on giving whole pod through.
That's because you looked at me funny. I said, yeah, I'm kidding because it took them so long to get there. But I like that Ron was like, okay. But he was really going, no, I don't. Wait a minute. Let me look this up. I don't understand what's happening.
Inter Milan's had a club.
Wait.
I'm so confused. This Three Stooges act over here.
Oh, that was brilliant.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What was brilliant in this game was Carlos Vella's lovely chip in the first half. That will probably be the best goal you see all year.
Wait,
in the MLS.
I'm not done making fun. Hold on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait. Did you say Inter Milan is suing them?
Yes.
Because
of the
you
Inter
talked about that in the last pod?
Yeah, we did.
Is it because there were 28 things I had to add to the bleep sheet? I don't remember that.
Probably.
I even just edited that pod not long ago.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely because of that.
In my brain,
and there was something that was won last week or two weeks ago, whenever the hell our last pod was, that they had won like the first court case and this to have the Inter removed, and then
MLS, stop with the Uniteds, stop with the Inters, just Reals, just
good old Miami SC.
Just call yourself right.
Now you add Inter, and then you have CF at what are you trying to do here? You're adding multiple variations of well-known soccer teams and just throwing Miami in the center of it. You're a mess, Miami. That's all I got.
So the MLS, the MLS official statement that essentially is fighting back in court. So the MLS opposition notice states the word Inter is merely a descriptive of the applicant, meaning,
for international, right?
For Miami, and its goods and services. The world is short for internacional, which translates to international, and that the phrase inter is commonly used to describe soccer teams.
Except
there's only one popular one. So we went through, and we found all these really obscure teams. Some are no longer playing. 3 are in the lowest tier of Brazilian
the Romanian
football.
league.
Romanian.
Yeah, we were sitting there at the bar after our game, and we were talking about it. And I go, name me one other team that you know that has Inter in their name. And it was a lot of. We have to look it up.
Inter Turku, which is from Finland.
If you didn't know that off the top of your head, you're a dumbass.
Inter Sandman.
That's true.
Inter Leipzig.
Off to Never Land.
Inter Leipzig in Germany. Inter de Grand Guove.
That's my favorite one right there.
From Haiti.
Yep, favorite one.
And Inter Atlanta FC, but I can't figure out where they're playing. It doesn't have a league in front of them.
ASL maybe, if that.
Who knows? So there are some other, but none of them are very popular, and none of them are in the top flight of their leagues.
So, but
we're off to Never Land.
Why not just? I don't know. Why not just name yourself something unique?
I don't know. Anyways, can we talk about seriously the best goal of the weekend and probably the best we'll see all year? Vella's beautiful chip in this game. It was a game-winning goal on his birthday to open up at home at LA. Good for them. Piss off Inter Miami.
Did it enter Milan's goal?
So, who do you like better, Inter Miami or Liverpool?
Ooh. God, at least stick with Florida.
Okay, fair enough. Good to know that was a tough choice.
That was a good. I liked it. Like you went through the Rolodex of decisions.
Why? And I got down to, they're still in the same state. So yeah, well, what the hell? Might as well go with them.
So in other MLS news, we got to go out to the Orlando home opener, and Orlando looks pretty good.
Organized.
We have organization. We have a smart midfield with Pereira, who is
strong midfield, yeah,
really kind of pulling the strings and delivering the ball. Mendes, Mueller, probably the three bright spots.
Ruan as usual.
But we have a defense that's organized. We have a midfield, and we play possession ball with a good press on the ball.
You know what?
We've never done that in the 5 years.
I was going to say, and this
all at one time. Sorry, all at one time. We've never done that.
No, and I actually would take a 0-0 draw over a 2-2 draw. Like, we could score before, but could not defend for crap. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's actually like...
Well, and Real Salt Lake's not going to be the stiffest of competitions we play all year, but yeah, exactly what Ron says. And also, anytime there was a counter or anytime there was play from Real Salt Lake, there was not a panic button that we hit to where people just went everywhere with their looking like chickens with their heads cut off. Yeah. They regained formation. They kind of slotted in well, and they were very organized throughout it all. There was no panic like we've seen in the past where you have defenders going all over the place. You have the midfield off on the right wing. Like it was very cohesive, and you can tell they're still working some things out, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But they have an organization to them that we have not seen. Now, this is a freaking long year in the MLS, so time will tell. And Real Salt Lake, again, is not the stiffest of competitions that we're going to play. But it shows a little bit of early promise to what we haven't seen, which is that organizational factor. We're not just playing with raw talent and emotion and hoping and prayer, and we're playing a little bit with our heads here. And the one thing that I'm stuck on, I can't figure it out, so if anybody knows this, please let me know. We switched benches.
He was so obsessed about this in the game.
Oh, yeah. Weird.
So now, if you are the camera...
Aren't you mad if you paid for those season tickets?
You know what I'm saying?
Think about that way,
but I'm just thinking, why did we just completely throw it for a loop?
If you are watching TV on the camera side, we are now the right bench instead of the left bench.
That is weird, though.
Why?
Isn't that usually a selling point, too? Because I feel like you sit behind the players, the bench.
And we were thinking that most of the home benches throughout the several leagues throughout the world are all on the left side.
Well, now you got to wait and see what happens. Will they move again?
It's like, why?
If Ferris's brain is
going to why.
He scrambled. He was asking.
It took me forever because I was like, wait, why are people in white shorts running down there where we usually run? Oh, because that's the other team.
And the best.
Oh, wait, they're at our bench. No, wait. No, we're at their bench.
It was pretty entertaining.
What the hell?
And as the game wore on, he got more and more upset about it. So he started, it was pretty
Why? Somebody in the press conference afterwards asked that man why we changed benches. Like, I get it. Like, you just want to, listen, we haven't won in the past 4 years, so might as well throw something new at it here, I guess. But why?
It's a mystery beyond
Anybody
science.
knows?
Please let Ferris know.
Please let me know.
So some other quick news. A Rooney-less DC United fall late to the Colorado Rapids.
Good win for the Rapids.
Yeah, a 2-1 final score. No Zlatan for the LA Galaxy, but they have a Chicharito, and they play out to a 1-1 draw.
He did not score in this game. Pavan actually scored a lovely goal, but Chicharito did not score on his debut.
And San Jose scores in the breath of the last gasp of the last wheeze of the game as they draw with Toronto 2-2, which was actually a pretty exciting game. FC Dallas shows up in the second half, and they come out killing the Union 2-0.
Yeah,
the first half of that was not that exciting.
Union are a lot of pundits picks to be like a dark horse almost and go a long way, especially in the East. But
I ain't feeling it.
Whitecaps go home are defeated by Sporting KC, and it's a 3-1 loss for them. Columbus pulls out a win against 10-man NYFC. Couldn't have happened to a better team.
Early red card, 3rd minute.
Yep. 1-0. New York Red Bulls hang on to pull out a win against FC Cincinnati 3-2 in a pretty great
That's probably
match.
one of the more fun matches.
Yeah, that was that one in Toronto, I think, were probably the two most fun matches of the weekend. Minnesota United spoil the Timbers home opener as they put three
big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, 3-1 against the Timbers.
At home. Away at the Timbers,
Yeah, and that place is kind of a fortress, you know. It's one of the bastions of...
game of the week.
Yeah, really, really good, good matches. Yeah.
Yeah, and all right, gentlemen. Since we didn't really have a preview pod, but we always do their picks, let's do our picks. Winner of the East. Blake, take it away.
The winner of the East? I don't know these things. Why are you asking me these things?
Take it away.
I got to think about this.
Thierry Henry and the Montreal Impact.
You're going Impact on an early win here. Ron's thinking that the Henry effect. Listen, he's not playing, and nor is he going to use his hands in the game. So I don't know if they're going to go that far. Out of the East, since Blake's kind of looking up and reminding himself who's actually in the East, it's going to be tough.
Well, I had to go like, wait, where do these new clubs fall into? Exactly. Not that I think that Nashville's going to do anything.
Geez. Yeah, I'll go with probably the New England Revolution.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, with what's his nuts that's there that used to be the LA coach and U.S. men's coach, Bruce Arena. Yeah, I mean he can get an MLS team playing, and I'm not saying they're going to win the whole thing, but I think that they'll be up there. So I'll go with the Revs.
Blake, you're up.
Let's make this interesting. Get three different across the thing.
Here we go.
I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with the Red Bulls to take the East.
No, Bradley Wright Phillips. He is off to where, John? You know where his off-season acquisition was?
I can't remember.
LAFC.
Thank you.
He's injured right now, so he didn't play in the home opener. But yeah. All right. Well, speaking of LAFC, winner of the West.
FC Dallas.
Oh, interesting. All right, Mr. Blake.
Man, they just managed to always do it somehow. I'm going to go with Seattle.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go Sporting KC. I think that they will have a pretty good year. Who wins the Shield out of those? Blake, you had Red Bulls and Seattle.
I'll say the Red Bulls.
Red Bulls get the Shield?
Yeah. They get the Shield.
It'll be their, second time in 3 years?
Yeah. Like I'm going to go with someone who's been there for a little bit.
Okay.
Recently.
All right. Okay. Ron?
My laptop just died.
Okay.
I'm on my phone.
You said Impact in Dallas.
Dallas.
Dallas wins the Shield, and I will go Sporting KC to win the Shield. I believe next up is the MVP of the league.
Ugh.
I'm going Jordan Morris.
Glad it wasn't, didn't do this before the opening game. I might have said Joseph Martinez.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Chicharito. I think he's going to have a really good year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the dark horse gamble on the outside.
I don't know if it's dark horse. I think it's you're going with
the LAFC is. I mean,
interesting. I'll give you that.
Try to spread my bets around and not stick everything from one place.
Sure, yeah, whatever.
I mean, I wouldn't drink a Moo Thunder over it. But.
No, I just not for a bet like the MLS.
I think Cheech can have a really good season over there.
Interesting from you there. Interesting. I'm just gonna go with the favorite in the clubhouse, and I will go Carlos Vela. It was last year's Golden Boot, I believe. No, yes, last year's Golden Boot, but yeah, I'll go with Vela.
or Galaxy. I think I said LAFC.
Who
All this stupid. I referenced Chicharito as LAFC, but LA Galaxy.
Chicharito
because we need more teams than LA in all sports.
Yeah,
to keep that straight.
Right. Chicharito is, I think, the next club. He's going to play for the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're in LA now.
Exactly.
Until they can move them again.
Biggest team to miss the playoffs.
I'm going to go anti-Ron and say Dallas.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm going anti-Ferris and saying Sporting KC.
Ooh. Harsh. You mean man, you. I want to say Dallas didn't make the playoffs last year, so I don't know how big of a one that is for you there, Blake. But
no, but
yeah, it's still big. Yeah, it's still big. I might have said them last year, but I'm actually going to go Seattle Sounders do not make the playoffs.
I think that was mine last year.
I think mine was Portland, yeah. So I'm staying in like the...
Mine was last year at
Northwest.
That didn't work out
yeah,
well.
No, it did not. Yeah, I think you're right. And then who's going to win the entire thing? Blake?
Okay.
The championship.
Again, spreading it around.
Okay, here he goes.
Let's say LAFC.
Oh.
I'll stick with you on that one. I do think LAFC have the firepower. Even though they lost Walker Zimmerman, I think the firepower up front between BWP and
I just
Bea
don't
and
pick them to win the conference because I just feel like
that's where I kind of went. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Ron?
To win it all.
And in the darkness bind them. My little Lord of the Rings for you guys.
Thank you so much.
I'm going on the outside for the Red Bulls.
Oh,
that's interesting. Especially okay. All right. Okay.
Hey, I don't tell you who to pick.
No, that's 100. I know.
Here's the thing. I am sorry.
Minnesota United is going to win the entire thing.
We might make our predictions, whatever, for the Premier League. MLS is bonkers.
It's parody at its finest.
The Union could go undefeated. But I mean, it's just bonkers. You just never know. So who knows? Mm-hmm. It's even hard to go make a Leicester-ish prediction for the MLS because which
is why we don't have it. Why we have the biggest team to miss the playoffs because that parody is so much into it. I probably should have added one that's which team is actually going to make the playoffs finally. Or
Orlando,
or whatever. Nashville, you can throw out something.
We all vote Orlando. Actually, Cincinnati might have a shot.
They might.
That's not a bad question.
Well, nonetheless, long year in the MLS, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that crazy long year.
I think we should play a new game, and every time Ferris says it's going to be a long year, it's a long season.
We're going to need more beer if you say it's a drinking game.
We're going to have to have a tally. And the next podcast, we have to guess for the rest of the MLS season.
I like it.
Closest to without going over.
Bucket, but
yeah, I like it.
We have to guess how many times he's going to say that.
All right.
And we can't tell him what we guessed because he'll just...
Do I get to pick myself?
Is it over under? And whoever does it poorly has the cookie puss?
Yes, because that's you two in on it. That's you two in on it, so I don't know. That's perfectly fine with me.
Nah, I would say the cookie puss when we add something to that Man United bet.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we've got to save liquid burps for another podcast.
Moving on.
Let's do this La Liga roundup.
The Liga roundup. I'm not going to include La Liga into this because it's PSG. But in the Bundesliga, in a weird scenario, Bayern Munich and Hoffenheim finished out their match as they played the final 11 minutes just passing the ball among themselves following a brief delay caused by supporter protest against Hoffenheim owner Dimitar Hopp. Really, really weird. If you get a chance to catch like the clips of this game, they have to go over to the fans and tell them, no, stop the chants, don't do this. They go in the locker room, but then they're on the field and time is like going off like normal soccer time. And they're just having a kickabout in center field, passing it back and forth to each other, just chatting with each other. And that's how the game ended. Really, really, really weird.
Was Bundesliga also the one where the supporter group did not show up because they put a Monday game up? And they're mad about Monday games for TV purposes. I feel like it was Bundesliga, but
yeah, Bundesliga hasn't done a Monday game.
It was some club in Europe in the last weekend, and it's just crazy because the entire supporter section was empty.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Bundesliga. Similarly, though, Borussia Dortmund and Freiburg also experienced a similar delay for the same reason as the BVB supporters continued their displeasure with Hop. I haven't had a chance to look really into the specifics of why they are all mad at this Hoffenheim owner. I know the Bayern Munich owner, Franz Heinrüninger, I think is what his name is. He came out and kind of offered support towards Hop. It was all about how he acquired the club and brought them up through the lower leagues. So again, I don't know the specifics on that, but if you're interested in that, definitely Google his name and see if you can find out kind of why, because I'll be doing the same after the pod. However, Bayern won 6-0 and Dortmund won 1-0, while the next day RB Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen played out to a 1-1 draw. So Munich still sitting first on 52 points, with RB Leipzig in second on 49 points, Dortmund on 48 points, and Borussia Mönchengladbach on 46 points. And that rounds out your top four in the German Bundesliga.
So who does Frankfurt play in Union Berlin?
Yes, that was they played on Sunday though, I thought.
No, Monday. No Mondays.
Ooh.
There's the empty
yeah, that was just
stadium. And then here's my favorite one.
Playing the Bundesliga, yeah.
Here's their protest that came earlier. They used Garfield the cat for I hate Mondays. And it's empty. The supporter section is completely empty.
Oh wow,
yeah.
I completely missed that.
Yeah. Well, it's right here on their tweet that says Das Lachen damit ist der Feste Warnig des Brewtiful.
Oh, you don't say.
Yep.
Lovely.
That's my terrible attempt at German.
Moving over to the La Liga over in Spain. Real Madrid take top spot in La Liga as they beat Barcelona 2-0 in the second El Clasico of the year. With the help of Vinicius Jr.'s opening goal, it helped to push Real Madrid 1 point above their rivals. By all accounts, I didn't get a chance to see this game, but a really dull game. Junior scores a goal, and then there was like a 93rd minute goal. Not the best of El Clasicos, but one that was a big game for Madrid as it was at the Catalonian club, who they have not lost El Clasico in like 7 league matches. So for Real Madrid to snap that 7-game Barcelona unbeaten streak, it was a big push to them winning the title this year from Barca. Sevilla and Getafe round out the top 4 in the Liga on 46 and 45 points, respectively. The Real Madrid and Barcelona are going to be fighting it out for the top spot, obviously, with those clubs kind of sitting in behind, and I don't see them getting anywhere near those two teams. Lastly, over in the Serie A, they had 5 matches scheduled for this weekend postponed due to the spread of the coronavirus in Italy. This comes on the back of the league already saying earlier in the week that these games will be played behind closed doors after the government banned public gatherings in an effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus. However, on Sunday morning, Serie A officials released a statement saying that all 5 matches, which included a top-of-the-table clash between Juventus and Inter Milan, Ron, would now be rescheduled for Wednesday, May 15th. I'm sorry, 13th.
Is that Beckham's team?
Yes. Yes.
Beckham's Inter Milan.
Yes. Inter Milan CF, International de Club Football. Yeah. So yeah, five matches. Not all of them, but 5 matches, and that big match obviously postponed as of Saturday morning, opposed to just being played behind closed doors. So there have been some outbreaks in Italy with this virus, so we're definitely trying to prevent it, and I think league officials are getting together this week to see how further they can do that. However, Lazio currently sit atop of the Serie A table as they were able to play their match.
I've been waiting for this.
Bologna on Saturday, which ended up being a 2-0 win for the Roman club.
Our good friend Lee Malaby from who gave us the cool Darlington FC stuff. Where was that funny? He sent me one. He listened to the last episode and said, "Oh, by the way, tell Ferris it's pronounced Lazio."
Lazio, yeah. Lazio.
I was like, I'll get it to him.
Thank you so much, Lee. Norwich. Is that how you say it?
Norwich and Leicester.
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 And some of that Lazio.
I don't know. I can't pronounce that, but I am Borussia Mönchengladbach. Like, that's just the weirdest thing.
I thought in Italian, the 2 Z's made it Lazio, not just the one.
Lazio.
That's why I always thought it was yours.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought 2 Z's made it that, but whatever. I'll take your word for it.
Is it Bologna or Bologna? Did I say that one right?
No, it's Bologna.
Depends on where you're from.
All of Italy is turning us off.
Is it Inter Milan or is it Inter Miami?
Is it
Milan.
mozzarella? Only if you're an annoying American that wants to sound like he's cultured.
And they say
right, exactly.
Mozzarella. Shut up. Yeah.
Well, that is your La Liga's roundup.
I like that.
Yeah.
You got to bleep my, that's an Italian swear word, by the way.
Oh, what did you say? Well,
I missed that one. Oh, there he is.
Blake's going to be hunting for that.
Learn some German tonight. You got to learn your Italian all of a sudden.
I just write out Italian swear word.
My grandfather, who is 100 or was 100% Italian, we used to run around with his hand like this.
And doing the little pinched fingers.
Yeah, and whenever,
I mentioned since we're an audio medium.
Right. He used to run around the house anytime someone pissed him off and go, all the time.
That's the word I'm looking for.
I missed that one, but I know that word well.
I'm not even.
You just got you're going to miss 3 bleeps or something.
Yeah, I don't even have on the bleep sheet. I'm so frustrated. We got to find a way to make a t-shirt or something out of the bleep sheet. It just makes me happy.
It's so fun.
Does that wrap us all up?
That does.
Okay, cool. Well, the beer was, I've been meaning to do this lately, to wrap up again, to remind, the beer that we had was the
Estrella
Inedit from Australia.
Oh, no.
Or Estrella, or Australia. I guess 2 L's, right? That's how you're supposed to say it.
Estrella.
Beer. If you want to follow all the different beers that we have, please follow us on Untapped. And then also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, whatever your social media platform of choice. Go to the website, thebrutifulgame.com. If you leave a review for the podcast, it greatly helps us. Just do us a favor, take a screen grab of it and send it to us either at email at thebrutifulgame@gmail.com or just a direct message to one of the social media platforms, and we will try to get something cool in the mail out to you. And the Instagrams. Don't forget about the Instagrams. The kids these days, they love those Instagrams.
You will see a lovely picture on all of those with Blake holding a bulb.
Yes.
Go find out what that means.
Oh, hold on. I just got a text. I apologize. I've been waiting to hear back for this. I don't know if I told you guys, but we got the, there was, we left the back door of the Jeep open and a dude stole, or a guy, somebody stole something out of the back of the truck. But luckily the only thing they took was my diary. But I just got word from the police that the guy who stole my diary just died. My thoughts are with his family. It's funny. Come on.
It's going to be a long MLS here.
My thoughts are with his family. Okay, who you are? That's funny.
The problem is, I was like, oh, wow. I'm sure he would have said something if someone stole. And then I was like, okay, this is set up.
You always know he's a setup when he goes, oh, yeah. And he,
I just got a text from the police.
Oh, man, that one made me
What are
happy.
you, 5 years old? Just look at that diary over there? Jesus.
My thoughts are with his family. All right, I like that one. That made me happy. I couldn't even finish the delivery good because that one cracked me up. That's how you know it's good. Boom, there we are. That's how I love wrapping up the show.
All right.
Making Ferris feel good about life.
Yeah.
Love the beard, cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.